Hello YouTube, my name is Nero. Today we have some Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered playing on the Variety map pack, and the topic of today's video is going to be a very controversial one, definitely a big point of contention for a lot of people within the Call of Duty community, and that topic is going to be, should Raven Software make weapon balance changes here in Modern Warfare Remastered? Now before we get into that, I would like to say, for those of you guys wondering, I have been enjoying the Remastered Variety map pack. I just wish I had the foresight to have actually leveled up my PlayStation 4 account a little bit going into this DLC, because I started playing as like a level 20, and so I have like nothing unlocked, really no perks, no attachments or anything like that. So that was a bit of an issue, but aside from that, I have been enjoying the maps for the most part. I'm not enjoying Kill House as much as I thought I would, because it's basically a bigger version of Shipment with a lot more grenades than I remember, and a lot more being shot through walls and stuff like that. But mostly, it's a pretty fun DLC. I've been enjoying it, and I can't wait for it to come out on Xbox, because of course that's my preferred platform. But with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and discuss this very controversial topic. Should we actually go ahead and hope that Raven Software makes weapon balance changes here in Modern Warfare Remastered? What brought this video on was a video that I made earlier on this week, where a lot of people were thinking that Raven Software was secretly actually making weapon balance changes to the game. They thought they were secretly reducing the fire rate of various weapons in the game. It turns out that's not the case. I did a comparison video where I showed you guys that side by side the weapons still fire exactly the same, but it turns out a lot of you were actually correct. They did change up the sounds, but for some reason did not include that in the patch notes. So we got this tweet from Amos Hodge, which says the fire rate of weapons was not changed. A sound bug was fixed that was playing audio faster than the fire rate of weapons. Hashtag Modern Warfare Remastered. So hopefully that gives a little bit of closure to some of you guys out there who thought that the fire rate had actually been reduced or changed one way or another. It turns out it was just the audio. They did actually, in fact, update the audio. But of course, that entire topic did bring up the entire debate of whether or not we should actually be advocating weapon balance changes here in Modern Warfare Remastered. I can see both ends. Would the game be better if they were to actually change the weapon balance? Yes and no, and I can advocate for both sides. So to advocate for weapon balance actually being retuned a bit here in Modern Warfare Remastered, the big upside to that would be making the game more interesting to more people. One of the reasons why so many games out there actually do these changes online periodically is because it makes the game feel more alive, and more importantly, it keeps fans actually interested. A good example of this, of course, would be Overwatch. Overwatch is constantly changing the balance of their heroes. They are adding in new heroes consistently and adding in new maps consistently, and the reason why they do that is so the game feels alive, and so the game actually feels like stuff is happening, and to keep fans more interested. You know, if the game was exactly the same as it was when it released, however long ago it released, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting, and Call of Duty is pretty much the same way. The reason why we see so many weapon balance updates, one is to, you know, make them actually better, but two, to actually keep the game fresh and interesting. If you change one weapon, that is going to change out the entire meta of the actual multiplayer. If they were to nerf the M16, suddenly this game's going to feel a lot different. Suddenly the AK-47 is more powerful than it was previously, by the very nature that the M16 is less viable than it was previously. If they were to buff up the mini Uzi, suddenly you're going to see a lot less MP5s and 74Us. You're going to see more Uzis. That's going to change up the medics. Of course, the Uzi is only good in certain situations, whereas the MP5 and the 74U are better in other situations. It will change up the game drastically if they were to go ahead and make weapon balance changes, which could actually, in fact, make it more interesting to some players. To argue against it, I would say it would be a bad thing, because there's no reason to really do it, because I feel as though the weapon balance is pretty good here in Modern Warfare Remastered. You could argue for the M16 or maybe the Uzi or other weapons, right? But overall, I feel as though the balance is actually pretty good. And they advertise this game, it's important to remember this, as Modern Warfare Remastered, right? It's supposed to be off of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and to change up the weapon balance would really change the game up a lot, to the point where maybe some fans wouldn't like it anymore. I feel as though a big percentage of the player base here in Modern Warfare Remastered are people like me that played Call of Duty 4 way back in the day, and they really enjoy the Call of Duty 4 weapon balance and everything that made COD 4 so great. If they change up the weapon balance, suddenly it's going to feel different, and that may be off-putting to a lot of players, which may actually do the opposite of what they would intend, which is to make people more interested. It may actually make us less interested and less likely to continue playing if they start tweaking and changing the weapon balance that we've all come to know and love over the course of the past decade. decade. So I can see arguments for and against it. The thing about all this is, it may all be for naught, right? They may actually be making these changes regardless once we get new attachments. It's important to remember that new attachments are coming to Modern Warfare Remastered. They are in the game files. They were leaked by the same people that have been 100% accurate so far, and some of these may potentially change up the weapon balance. The most important one, of course, is going to be long barrel. We don't know whether or not long barrel is going to be exclusive to shotguns. I have a feeling it's going to be. It makes the most sense for it to be a shotgun exclusive. So what long barrel does, if you guys don't know, is even in the game files, this is straight from the Modern Warfare Remastered game files, it's going to increase your damage range by 25%. Now on shotguns, that's a small buff, but it's still going to be a buff to shotguns nonetheless. These shotguns are going to be better than they were previously once this attachment actually comes to the game. But if it's not exclusive to shotguns and long barrel is available on everything, that is going to change up everything, man. Imagine an AK-47 with long barrel, right? It's going to take that 2-shot kill range and extend it by 25%. That's going to be a big change. The same can be said for the MP5 or the AK-74U, which are very powerful submachine guns already. Giving them 25% more range, that's going to make them even better than they were previously. So that would definitely be a big change that I'm not sure everybody would be on board with. Another attachment, which would of course change up the game quite a bit, would be extended mag. Now, it's not going to change as much as long barrel, which actually does change up your range and therefore how much damage you can do at a range, but extended mag is a pretty big deal. Imagine an extended mag AK-47 or a 74U or an M16 or extended mag sniper rifles. That's going to be a pretty big deal for a lot of people, I would say. And for me personally, and I've talked about it before, but extended mag on a double tap Scorpion is going to be amazing. I'm calling it now. Once it happens, it's going to be an amazing setup that may actually launch the Scorpion to become one of the better weapons in the game. We're going to have to see. But yeah, man, the weapon balance changes that are going to be coming, at least in terms of attachments, are definitely going to change up the game. So I can't quite see them actually making real weapon balance changes on top of that, because that would just completely take this game, which still does feel like Call of Duty 4 in my opinion. It would take that game and make it not feel like Call of Duty 4 anymore. Again, I can argue one way or the other. I could argue for or against it, but for me personally, I feel as though it would be in the best interest of Modern Warfare Remastered to keep the weapon balance the same that it has always been, the same weapon balance that we have come to know and love over the course of the past decade. Now, obviously, people are going to disagree, and that's perfectly fine. It's awesome that you disagree. It shows you have a little bit of taste, you know? I mean, I don't think it's very healthy for people just to blindly agree with me on everything. It's cool if you agree with me, but if you disagree, that's awesome as well, right? There's nothing wrong with having a differing opinion, but I feel as though personally, the game would be better if they continue having the same weapon balance. It's going to change with attachments a bit. It's going to change once we get new weapons, of course. Every time they add in a new weapon, it does change up the meta of the game quite a bit. I mean, having a new submachine gun in the game changes things up, having a new assault rifle, new shotgun, so on and so forth. So they're gradually making changes to the game. They're working to do that thing that all game developers try to do, which is try to keep the game fresh and interesting by adding new content so things don't get stale. And I feel as though what they're doing now with supply drop weapons is better than them actually changing up the actual balance of the game, if that makes any sense. Now, obviously, supply drop weapons are annoying. I still don't personally have any, and how about this? So for freaking buying the Variety Map Pack on the PlayStation 4, you get 10 rare supply drops, right? I opened up my supply drops, didn't get anything really of great value, but I did get the legendary prerequisite to actually unlock the Mac 10. So now I'm like 600 parts away from being able to unlock the Mac 10 on my PlayStation 4 account, which I don't play for freaking anything. It's annoying. It's kind of annoying, but here's the thing though, if I just keep playing on the PS4 a little bit, I'll eventually unlock that and be able to experience this new weapon and potentially make videos of it and stuff like that. So that'll be cool. But yeah, just overall, I feel as though Modern Warfare Remastered would be better off to keep weapon balance the same way that it is. And once they do add new attachments to the game, I personally hope that long barrel is exclusive to shotguns, because I don't feel as though a lot of people will say that shotguns in this game are overpowered. Now, obviously, when you died with a shotgun, it's the most annoying thing in the world. Like, oh, this guy just one-shot me, blah, you know. But for the most part, if you try using them, they're pretty freaking tough. Aside from like shipment and vacant, shotguns are pretty hard to use in this game. So I think it would be nice to see a little bit of a buff, so long barrel might actually be nice if it actually does come to the game. I mean, it's probably going to. It's in game files. Why would they put it in the game files if they're not going to add it to the game? They've added everything else so far. So we're going to have to see how that plays out, but I feel as though overall they need to keep the Call of Duty 4 weapon balance the way that it is right now, not change up anything. It's going to be changed up enough, you know, once attachments actually come to the game. So don't change it any further, but if they do, I can see why they did it, which I guess is the focus of this video. So I'd love to hear down there in the comments, what do you guys think about the potential prospect of Raven Software making weapon balance changes here in Modern Warfare Warfare Remastered. Are you for or against that idea? And of course, back up your claim a little bit. We're not here to necessarily have an argument, but a debate is always welcome. Remember, there are really no right answers, just personal opinions here. My personal opinion, keep it the way that it is. I like the COD 4 weapon balance, but if you're going to make changes, the perks, if you're going to make any big changes, can it be the frag times 3? I freaking hate frag times 3. This is where, like, personal opinion comes in. Like, I hate frag times 3. Stun times 3 is annoying. I use it when I'm a low level, but I hate frag times 3. I have never equipped it once here in Modern Warfare Remastered. And so if they were to remove both of those perks completely, I would be okay with that. I would be entirely okay. The same way that other people would be entirely happy if Juggernaut were removed from the game entirely, or if Dead Silence were removed from the game for whatever reason, or if Claymores were removed, or something else. Right? If it all comes down to personal opinion, it's all just, you know, what we personally think. And so I'd love to hear down there in the comments, what do you guys think about the potential prospect of Raven Software making changes to Modern Warfare Remastered? I'd love to hear about that. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Drop me a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.